Hey traders, what's up? To watch this video here for Friday, May 7th, showing you the daily on the SPY. And look at on 5-minute candles, look how strong this thing closed. I mean, the market's just kind of sitting right back near all-time highs. As far as what happened today in chat, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to highlight 3 trades in LEDS that were called in the room. So let's go to that. Had this huge move today. Funny thing is, nobody really knows why. I think it was all started by a StockTwits post or something. But it ran up early on and topped out just below 7. I actually took an early trade on it and lost on my first trade, but ended up huge on this thing on the day. Kevin called an idea through 7 here. I actually didn't get that one either, but I'll show you what I did do. So his idea was through 7, knowing that the other day you had 720. So he had a catalyst just above whole number inflection point on a stock that's in play, recent high flyer, and a catalyst just above. Great call by Kevin, and you see what it did. It went up over 13 from there without ever touching 7 again. Well, that's not true. Let's go to like 2s here because I want to show you what I did. Now, I did not call this in chat. I missed. I said I was going to step aside on the 7 break because I'd screwed up on it earlier. So I let it go, and then I was realizing, hey, this thing's strong. I put a quiet bid right below 7. At 688. Now I didn't call this in chat, so I don't want it to come off as I did. But see, this almost looks like an errant tick, like it didn't happen. I got filled. It went to 686. I had a bid at 688. I'm going to slide this chart over. I took a screenshot. And I'm doing this just because I'm super proud that I nailed literally the bottom of that candle. I got filled at 688 right there. And then I'll explain this other one in a little bit. But so nailed that one and ended up huge in the name after my first blunder in it. But anyway, I wanted to go over the high. So Kevin's call through 7 was 1. And then Joe's, which looks like Jose. And when I'm on the mic and I call him Joe's over the mic, I know people are thinking, hey, you're an idiot. His name is Jose. But he already told me early on, it's pronounced Joe's. So that's what I call him. It makes sense, right? All right, so LEDS, Joe's made a great call. And that was as it was coming down here, called a whole number flush, 15's buy zone. And then I know that he got filled. I bid in, I want to say the 860s or something. I did not get filled, but he bid it right below the whole number. He bid it at 890. And then, let me turn that down. He literally got filled at 890 playing that setup that we teach, right? And it went to 882. So he was like 8 cents underwater for a blink and it ended up going up huge, back over 13. So that was a great post. Already talked about Kevin's, talked about Joe's, and then I called a 2's buy zone pullback. This one was mine, and I'll bring this back over. You see I got filled at 1061 there. These are all stuff right out of our how we buy pullbacks. We teach it in the course. We even have a free webinar on it if you haven't seen that and you don't want to take the course. I got filled at 1061 there. I think it went down to 1050, so I was 11 cents underwater literally for the blink of an eye. And we'll show you that setup here real quick. That was, again, a 2's buy zone idea. And that was, as it was coming down, I had my bid at 1061. Literally caught the bottom of that, and it went up back to almost 1350. So there was 3 really cool calls employing everything that we teach in the course, right? All 3 of them on LEDS. And I'm going to leave it at that as far as the recap because that thing was big money today. And I want to get into the watch list video for tomorrow, which is, let's get into it. NMRD had this huge move, then the gap up, and then a nasty reversal. So it's kind of probably in the lower half of its 2-day range, if I had to guess, but certainly in play. So I want to watch that for a turn back up tomorrow. CLOV, I've had this on Bounce Watch for several days. So now with each subsequent red day, it's like, I can't take it off the list because that'll be the day it bounces. No trades in it today, no setup, but it goes back on Bounce Watch for tomorrow. As I always say, I'd love to see an afternoon break out of a range, right? That's my favorite way to play one of these bounce plays. EXAS kind of has a little bit of a bottoming tail today. It's been on Bounce Watch for several days. So again, it just goes back on Bounce Watch because we had no trigger in it today. RBLX, same thing, goes back on Bounce Watch. We get another red day. One of these days, if these things bounce, especially like with a market bounce, something, you could get some nice snapback rallies. By the way, it's interesting to me how many ugly charts are out there with the SPY sitting at all-time highs. It's a little weird, right? If you trade every day, you know what I'm talking about. Coin is, I used to tell people, a certain stock might be on my DNT list, which stands for my do not trade list, because they're stocks that I struggle with. I hate Coin so much, it's not on my DNT list, it's on my FU list. But it still came public back here and went to almost 430, and now it's in the mid twos, and it's down 4 days in a row. So I'm putting it on the bounce list, but I probably won't trade it because I hate the damn thing. RDFN, again, these are not bullish charts, but as a day trader, I'm looking for stuff that might snap back tomorrow. And this has fallen from 72-ish down to 52-ish in 4 sessions. That's a big drop. So we're looking for kind of a snapback bounce. PUBM, I would make the same argument. It's fallen from over 55 down into the 30s in about a week. You're looking for a snapback bounce, only with an A+ intraday setup. CWH's Camping World really had a nice rip, I think, on earnings the other day, and now you've got a couple red days on declining volume. I'll look for that one to give some kind of turn back up setup tomorrow. PRPO, after the big rip to over 9, you had a lower high the next day, a lower high again today, just putting it on bounce watch. LEDS, it's insane, huge move. Really nobody knows why. Somebody tied it into the chip shortage, and somehow they tied this in. Is that a valid thesis? I don't know. I'm a day trader, so I trade, I trade the order flow, the tape, and the chart. I don't really delve into. As a matter of fact, I try to avoid reading stuff like that because I don't want to. I don't want to have my opinion swayed by something I read, which might not, might coerce me, for lack of a better term, to maybe not trade what I'm seeing and trade on what I think is relevant behind the scenes. And you don't ever want to do that as a trader, right? Anyway, long story short, LEDS, crazy, 158 million shares traded today. Should be on watch for the next several days. A couple more. BCRX had a nice rip today and a pretty strong close. SSY, had this big pop yesterday, gave a lot of it back. Then today put in an inside day and still green, still closed above its open. So kind of a squinky trader, but I'll watch it. And then lastly, IBIO, which isn't very pretty. It popped the other day, a lot of bag holders, and then another red day today. So it's round trip. So there's nothing interesting about this, except in after hours it's trading at 204 right now. So now with this topping tail, and a lot of times when you see this with this kind of volume and the thing bleeds right back down, a lot of times shorts get kind of emboldened, and shorts are going to wake up in the morning maybe in a little bit of trouble. And there's a lot of volume the other day with this topping tail day, so it is worth watching tomorrow for a potential gap and go. I'm done babbling. We'll see you guys in the chat room in the morning. Have a great night.